Hey, plumbing bros. Welcome to Potty Talk Live, where we take it into the trenches, the crawl spaces, basements, kitchens, and baths, all around this big, beautiful world of ours to talk to plumbing professionals just like you. Hey there, I'm Richard Behney, the $1 Million Plumber, coming at you live from Command Central here in beautiful Indianapolis, Indiana, USA, where I'm feeling pumped. I've been looking forward to this one. Hey, we have the lovely Laura in the house. Hey, sweetheart.
Hey, baby.
How you doing?
Doing great.
Oh,
I can't wait to hear from Anne.
I know we can't. I know we're excited. We have Anne Timpany on the program here. So
all the way across the pond.
All the way across the pond, our cousin from across the pond. All right. Hey, and she has a great, first of all, a great story. She's a mother of I think 3. We're going to find out about that. And but founded a plumbing company. And just found some little plumbing company. I mean, she's grown it into a multi-million-pound, plumbing company. She's gone from service into commercial, which those boys are tough, So she's been doing it all, and she's going to have some huge nuggets of gold to drop on us here. So I can't wait to get to her. And looking good. In fact, do we have? We have let's show a little bit. I got to show it off a little bit. I'm kind of proud that she's taking the time here. There she is. And got some awards. We're going to go through that. I mean, she's done a lot here. Show the logo here.
Sure. And this is where she's
over there in the UK. So all right. So my brother's down in Southern Indiana. That's the UK. That's United Kingdom to you guys. Okay. All right. All right. It's where that's the motherland, so to speak.
Yeah.
There we go.
We'll have to ask her if she attended the wedding.
Yeah, we'll have to ask her. Yeah, lovely Laura wants to know if she attended the wedding. I think she probably has better things. Well, maybe not. I mean, that's we'll find out. Okay, but we'll ask. Over here we're all about the wedding, and it's not even our family, but it's really, all right. It is fun. It is fun. All right, but looking good. All right, her stuff looks good. Hey, and you got to look good. All right, if you're a professional plumber, you got to look like a professional plumber. All right. It's important what your logo looks like. I think Anne, she came back, marketing background and all that. That's why she gets it. So, hey, listen up, because she's going to have some nuggets of gold to drop there. But hey, your stuff's got to look good. Your logo's got to look good. Your materials that you hand out to your customers, even your invoices, all that stuff's got to look good. Your business cards, it's got to look good. All right. You got to look like a professional plumber. And I get it. We're plumbers. All right. We weren't, we're not artists or graphic designers. But that's no excuse, all right? Especially today. You can do what the lovely Laura and I have done, and what we still do. We use Design Crowd, okay? Because with Design Crowd, it's like having your own in-house graphic design department for a lot less, all right? Without all the big expense. And they make it easy. Design Crowd makes it so easy to get your designs and get your graphics taken care of. All you do is create a brief. That's just their fancy way of saying create a job. So you create your job, and then after you create your job, you start receiving unique designs from around the world within hours. That quickly, all right, from around the world, or artists from all over the world, graphic designers all over the world. Then you simply select and approve your favorite design, and there you got it, a top-notch professional design at a fraction, and that's the key word there, a fraction of the cost. Simply go to www.themilliondollarplumber.com/design crowd and start getting your professional designs today. Hey, because you're a professional plumber, you should look like one, okay? Hey, and if you are wanting to be a professional plumber, okay, there we go. If you are looking to be a professional plumber, that's, you got your plumbing license, your plumbing truck, and a plumbing dream. All right, there's some things you got to know. Just like Anne, she had it figured out already, and that's what it takes to be a multi-million-pound plumber. But there's 7 must knows, and I put it down in my ebook, the 7 must knows to be $1 million plumber. Okay, you got to know these things to be successful, and I made it also easy for you to get because it's free. All right, no strings attached, no catch. It's free. I want to get this into your purple primer stained hands. All right, you got to know these things if you're looking to do your own thing. Simply type free in the comments, and I'll get it right out to you. All right, enough of that. I want to get Anne in here. We have Anne Timpany, founder of On Tap Plumbers out of St. Albans, UK. Anne, how you doing? You ready to rock Potty Talk Live?
Hi, Richard. Yes, I am. How are you?
I'm doing great. I've been so excited to talk with you. Finally, I appreciate you taking the time. I know you had a busy day. It's probably it's about the end of your day there. You got the
Yeah, it's 9:15 in the evening.
There we go. So it's about time to wrap it up. But hey, thanks so much for taking the time, and really,
Perfect time.
really
Kids are all asleep.
all right. Hey. So before we get into talking some plumbing here, we're going to do that here, and about the next 30 minutes, we'll be talking, plumbing business and that kind of stuff here. But before we do that, would you tell us a little bit about yourself? Something you do, what you guys like to do outside of plumbing?
Yeah. You might detect that I don't have a British accent. I'm actually originally from New Zealand.
I'm learning. Yeah, we got lots of some, I guess what they call Kiwis. Yeah, you do have that kind of accent. Yes.
Yes, I am a Kiwi. And I'm married to an Albanian. And Albania is in Europe near Croatia and Greece.
Cool.
And I've been in the United Kingdom for 15 years now. And we started our business about 9 years ago. And it was just me and my husband, and he had his van and he had his tools. Mm-hmm. And he set out, and I did all the marketing and the sales and networking to try to drum up some business for him, because in those first few months I also got pregnant, so I had 9 months to get some business to keep him busy.
There we go. You had a deadline, a real deadline.
I did, yes. And outside of plumbing, we enjoy it. My husband loves to cook. He's amazing in the kitchen. He's got a wood-fired pizza oven and a spit roaster. So we really enjoy our food and our wine.
There we go. Right. That sounds good, man. So you got, that sounds like a pretty good team there. And along with you got a master plumber and then also a master cook, it sounds like. And
yeah,
sounds like a pretty good deal.
He always said if he wasn't a plumber, he'd probably be a chef.
There we go. Well, it is artistic. The best plumbers tend to have a little bit of, artistic ability about them, in an artistic eye.
Absolutely.
Yep.
He's made amazing light fitting out of copper pipe, and he's also made bar stools out of uni strut and all sorts of bits and bobs he can find from his plumbing sites.
All right, cool. Vincent, I like that. The love of Laura. Just, we like the, we love the language. And one of the cool things is it's our privilege here is we get to talk to, guys and gals, I call them my plumbing bros. And I got a plumbing sister on now from all over the world. It's just a little different, the different way we talk about things like bits and bops and that kind of stuff. And I love it. It's just so much fun. And what this is all about, though, too, with Potty Talk Live is, even though we all kind of come from a different part of the world and may have a different little bit of speech and some little bit, culturally a little different, the plumbing and plumbing business is really pretty much all the same. It really ties us together. And that's why I call us, the plumbing bros, my plumbing sisters, because we have that in common, and it's just amazing. So how did you tell us a story? So how did you weren't always in plumbing, you weren't, how did you wind up deciding, that aha moment or that, that tipping point that you decided to, start the plumbing business with your husband?
Well, going right back, when I was a young girl, I actually said specifically I was never going to marry a plumber because I thought that they all they did all day was plunge toilets and did really dirty, yucky work. So I was determined not to end up marrying a plumber. And obviously I did. I was in theatre, actually, in New Zealand. I did a qualified at university in a theatre and English degree. And as every struggling thespian, I worked in hospitality doing waitressing while I was hoping for my big moment on the stage, which never happened. And eventually, after leaving New Zealand, I lived in Australia for a while and moved to the United Kingdom. and I was only going to stay here for 6 months. And I met my husband very early on and ended up staying here. And I was working in hospitality, doing marketing and sales and events. And my husband said he really wanted to go out on his own because he was working for a Irish-based plumbing firm in North London. And he'd reached a ceiling and decided it was time to start his own plumbing business. And this was in 2008, around about the time that the economic recession really hit the UK. But we didn't really think about that. It didn't even minds at the time. So we decided one night over some tapas and a bottle of Rioja at our favourite Spanish restaurant that we would set up our own plumbing company and also try and have a baby. And within 1 month, I was pregnant and the company was registered at Companies House and we were ready to go. So that was in late 2009. So then I spent the 9 months networking, and I was determined to make sure On Tap Plumbers was set up properly, and we had a vision. We wanted to raise the reputation and the image of plumbing. Because in the United Kingdom, I'm not sure if it's the same in the United States, but tradesmen, builders have a bit of a bad reputation. They get called cowboys. Yeah, so I wanted to make sure our company stood out from everybody else and we were reliable and showed that you could have a really good, reliable, efficient, trustworthy plumbing company. And I think being a woman running a plumbing company helped customers feel a bit more like they could trust us and that we were honest, which I think helped us drive the business forward in those early days when we were doing domestic plumbing. Because often in a house, it's the woman that calls up and says, I've got a plumbing problem, or it's the woman that wants to choose that new bathroom suite. So it's usually once I'd booked the appointment in the diary and organised for my husband to visit the house, it was usually the woman in the house that he dealt with.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And that's what, and on that, first of all, I love that how much we have in common here. I swore that I would never get into it. And then, and I'm sorry, we're getting an echo here. I can hear it. You have a speaker on there. I don't know if we need to turn that off or not. We're getting an echo. I don't know if you have headphones or another device taken out. But it was very similar, Anne, that I swore I would never be in plumbing because I knew plumbers, not that I would ever marry one, but I swore I'd never be in one, be in plumbing. And I was into entertainment, and I was playing music in Nashville, working on a Nashville country music career here in the U.S. And it just didn't go off, and that kind of a thing. And so I had nothing, I thought, well, I better try this plumbing thing. And the lovely Laura and I over, a couple beers. We didn't do the wine, but over a couple beers, decided to start the plumbing business. So I find that so fun and interesting there. And I love the point that you make. And on that point, if we could talk maybe just a moment about that, of how, yes, it's this way in the States as well, and what we call residential service. It's usually when we call them the house manager. That's what we would call them in our business. The house manager is usually the woman of the house. All right. They're making decisions. They're the ones calling. They're the ones there making the decisions. And so it's learning to, as men, dealing with a woman. And we can't be our normal, the guys. Guy. We're talking guys, and I'm talking to you guys out there because I know guys. I'm a guy, so I know guys. What on that? What advice can you give to the male plumbers? And the business guys, and even the plumbers that are watching and listening that work for another company but are going into these homes, what advice can you give to the guys to when they're working with a female customer? Maybe how do you train your guys to deal with female customers?
Well, our guys, we work on commercial construction sites now. So it's a little bit different. The business model's changed a lot since the early days. But what I used to say to my husband is, one, you need to look professional and they need to be able to trust you. And if you turn up looking scruffy, a bit dirty, then it's going to be, you're going to get on the back foot straight away. So things like turning up in a nice, clean van that has a sign on it actually really helps raise that trust with the client. Because I'm not sure about in the US, but here in the UK, a lot of tradesmen drive around in very dirty vans with newspapers and coffee cups all over the front window, and then they all look like they've been working, and they've got rips and clay, paint, and cigarettes. Exactly. Right. And that does not help the reputation of the industry. It doesn't even help encourage young people to come into the industry, but that's a whole different subject. Yeah. The other thing that I said to my husband early on was, do you realize that you're our best salesman for the company? And he was like, what are you talking about? I'm a plumber. I'm not a salesman. And I said, well, funny you say that because you are there in front of the
of a salesman because he got you, he had to do some kind of selling,
Yeah, well, that's true. But I said, you're there in front of the customer. That's the perfect opportunity for you to sell our services. You'd be called out for a £70 call-out charge. But I said, while you're there, have a chat to them about servicing their boiler or any other potential plumbing work that they might need. And eventually he got it. And once you really understand that you're more than just a plumber, you are everything to that business. And if you are confident and you can sell yourself, then the customer will feel confident about having you work in their house.
There's so much there, guys. Anne is just throwing a whole gold mine at you. I mean, you guys got to listen up to that. I work, I do, personal coaching, and that kind of thing, with guys all over. And that's the thing of, it's getting over that hump of you're not just a plumber, and then the idea of, there's an attitude, and it's everywhere. I mean, everywhere I talk to the Aussie guys, or, I got the guys in Canada, of course, here in the States, it's no better, South Africa. And it's that attitude. Well, I'm a plumber. I deal with, and I always say, well, just because you deal with, crap doesn't mean you got to have crap all over you all the time and look like it. Especially when you're walking into someone's home. That doesn't help you get the sale, which is ultimately what you want. You want to take care of that customer, and you want to be their plumber, right? And so it's having that clean truck, being clean, having your straighten up your hair, pull the stuff out of your hair, and
maybe like covered on your shoes, even that is really simple, but it shows that you respect their property.
Right. Very good. All right, guys, you're hearing it. All right. You're hearing from someone who started with nothing and now has, 70 guys working for her, and, is gone now from doing residential service. I'm talking about residential service guys, and we talk about, going into commercial, and that's a whole nother tough game. So we're not talking to a pushover here. Listen to these kinds of things. It matters, man. So Anne, what when you started out, I know you started out and you're now into the commercial and you're doing some big stuff, but you started out and you went into residential service, is what we call it. Is that what you call it? Going into homes. What was something that's domestic? What was something that surprised you? Because you're educated. You're working another professional career, so you get it. So you started this business, but what surprised you about when you started your plumbing business that you weren't expecting?
Oh, that's a question I hadn't thought about. You've caught me there. What surprised me was how much demand there is out there for a plumbing company that can deliver on time, on budget, and professionally and reliably. Everywhere we go, people say, oh, I need a plumber. I can't find a decent plumber. There is so much business out there for plumbing and tradespeople. That really did surprise me. And the fact that being a tradesperson or a plumber means you can work in any country. As you say, it doesn't matter where you are. It's all the same. Plumbing seems to be the same worldwide. So that surprised me. Also, the fact that that people they didn't have a really high expectation of you when you arrive at their house. They automatically don't really trust tradespeople very much. So you really do start on the back foot, because often people have had a bad experience. So you really have to work quite hard to gain that trust early on. So I think that surprised me as well.
Oh, great answers there, Anne. Thank you for that. I'll send a check over to you after that, because that's great stuff there. Because I'm always talking about to the guys that it's never been a better time to be in the plumbing industry. And the guys say, well, there's not enough work. There's plenty of work. There's plenty of customers who are looking for a company that they can trust. That is so true. And hey, Ann, we have a question here from Tyler. Hey, Tyler, how's it going, brother? Tyler asked, what was your mindset behind the switch from residential service to commercial work?
Hi, Tyler. So the decision to switch was because it was a number of factors, actually. One, we'd had a couple of children by this point when we decided to focus on commercial solely, and I really wanted my husband at home. I didn't want him in his van, out at night time, all weekend. I really wanted him at home with me and the children. And commercial work is usually an 8 to 5, Monday to Friday game. Also, residential work, you need to get a lot of clients for volume. So to get one call out, it's a lot of work, a lot of marketing, a lot of sales, a lot of activity just to get, 10 call outs, for example. Whereas commercial work, we only need 3, 4, or 5 clients, and they just give us continual work, which goes on for a guaranteed duration. So some of our contracts can go for up to 3 years. So we know that we have a guaranteed income for a 3-year period, no matter what. Whereas when you do domestic, that 1 hour call out, that's it. You might not get another job after that. So it was more of a, confidence that we had a longevity in the business.
Mm-hmm. And I agree with that. A little bit my commercial work here is a little different. It's a really tough nut. The big companies here kind of control it. And the little guys, when I call it, us little guys, the guys starting out, with a plumbing truck, may have a plumbing truck and their buddy, that kind of thing, and starting out commercial work, that kind of stuff is really hard to get into over here. There's a lot of politics involved, for that kind of stuff. So, hey, we got,
Looks like her husband.
looks like your husband here. Tyler,
it is.
The other half of Anne. There we go. All right. There's the other half of Anne. I got to see him earlier. All right. So, well, how was that switch? Let's talk about that. It's that's a tough game. And I imagine it's still a tough game over in the UK. So, what was the difference for you? How did you have to adapt your business model to play that game?
The whole business has changed, and when you enter the commercial world, it's not just about plumbing anymore. There's so much more involved around financing, payment terms, securing loans, recruiting large volumes of plumbers. And in the UK, we have a shortage of skilled plumbers. So there's an added challenge of that. And as you've probably heard about this horrific Brexit that's happening to the UK, that has an impact because a lot of plumbers in central London doing commercial work are not from the UK. It's estimated around 50% of construction workers in London are not from the United Kingdom. So we have that added pressure on us. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much a whole new game. And what has been great though in London is there's been a big boom in commercial construction. The landscape of London has completely changed since just before we started our business, which we didn't foresee. Whereas the tallest building used to be 18 floors. Now I think we're going up to the 50s and 60s, and the architecture's changed dramatically. So it's very different, and domestic is a lot more relaxed. You don't even have to be qualified in the United Kingdom to set up your own plumbing company, put your name on the side of a van, and out you go and sell your wares. You can get away with not even being qualified, but not on the commercial sites. So the quality of the installation is probably on the higher side due to the level of qualification that's required to get on those sites. Yeah.
So how did your husband, this is a question for your husband, the same kind of, it sounds like you're handling the business side of things and working with that. So how was the transition from, working or developing, as you call, residential crews, or I forget, domestic crews, versus going into the commercial side of thing and developing the commercial crews? How was that, how'd you deal with that?
So in the United Kingdom, at plumbing colleges, people are taught domestic or residential plumbing. They're not taught commercial plumbing. So we do, to start with, have to show some residential or domestic plumbers how to do commercial work. But again, it's not that dramatically different from residential work. It's just on a larger scale. And there's so much more attention to detail. Pipe work has to be put in exactly the right location that it shows on the drawings. It can be almost an art, and some of the guys get really, really excited about showing how beautiful their pipe work looks. But in a domestic setting, the pipe isn't seen, it's not visible. It can be hidden behind plaster and wood and all sorts of things. So they don't have to, the install can be a lot more relaxed, but not on the commercial sites. So it's tricky getting the guys up to speed and getting the quality that you need. So that's why we start working with apprenticeships, doing apprenticeships, and having apprentices from the plumbing colleges. Okay, so there's just a nugget of gold there. That concern of finding good, qualified, quality workers. Sounds like you kind of go right to the fountain, so to speak. And try to go through the technical schools, or try to get them out of right out of school, and then build apprentice programs and develop them yourself. Is that what you're doing? That's right. So a couple of years ago, I realized that my husband's biggest problem was recruiting plumbers. So I said to him, why don't we just go directly to the colleges and get some plumbers there? And yes, we do need some more plumbers in the industry. So why don't we start talking to high schools and trying to talk young people into careers in construction? And I said to my husband, where do you think all these young people are hanging out? How can we talk to them, communicate with them? And he's like, I don't know. And I said, social media. They're on YouTube, Facebook, they're on Snapchat, they're on Instagram. So I said, why don't we set up some social media channels and start showing these young people how cool plumbing can be, what a plumber's life can be like, because the plumbers here in the UK, particularly in the commercial sites, can earn some serious dosh. So yeah. I said, well, we show these young people what a successful plumbing career can give them, and we use social media to do that. There we go. Hey, huge nugget there, guys. You listening up to that? I know, because that's one of the excuses a lot of guys use, is I can't find good guys. Oh, they're crying in their Fruit Loops, and that kind of thing. I get it, but it's great. Go where the young guys are hanging out. And go right there. Because and we do have, here in the U.S., our high schools really aren't open to us going into them, because they're more pushing, getting the kids to university and getting them in debt and going that route. Our country was built by the trades, and there was a time when that was popular, but we've gone the university route, and it was really pushing that. So it's hard to go into your university here in the U.S., or not university, but the high schools, and have a chance to talk with the kids. But that thing of going to where the kids are and showing them, and that's what we say here, over here in the U.S., you can be a service plumber, and no matter where you're at, you can make 6 figures a year, which is good money here, in the U.S., and so, if just showing them, I love that idea, guys, of just, going where they're at, building up. So you set up some social sites maybe, and just showing them, what kind of life they can have, and that interest, and just kind of recruiting in that area. So
Man, good stuff
Yes.
there. Great stuff there. So where do you expect, your business to be a year from now? What are you doing next?
Well, what we do is part of what's called a mechanical package in a commercial construction site. So I'm not sure how it works in the US, but plumbing comes under public health, and that is alongside other mechanical services such as air conditioning, ventilation, electrics, duct work, things like that. So when a large construction site is being put out to tender, the contractor will separate the packages into public health, pipe fitting, air conditioning. So my husband and I are working on a concept of rather not just doing the public health, but also doing the other elements of the mechanical packages, pulling them all together under an umbrella group, and instead of just sticking to public health, we could do all the services, which makes us more diverse and something that we can go direct to the main contractors with.
Here we go.
So we're looking to take over a little bit more than just plumbing.
There we go. It's kind of like you want to become like the Spectre of my favorite movie series. I'm a James Bond fan, so I'm an American that loves James Bond. I can't help it. Over Tom Cruise and Mission Impossible. And Daniel Craig's my favorite Bond, by the way. I think he's the coolest Bond. Anyways, you got Spectre.
Well, I love Pierce Brosnan.
What's that?
I quite like Pierce Brosnan as a Bond.
Well, he's kind of too much. He's a pretty boy. He's pretty. I can see that. Okay. I like a guy with some scars, a little rough, kind of like. So anyways, well, we're talking. I'm talking guys with Anne. I can't believe it. Oh, thank you, Anne. You're so cool, man. Hey, I'm gonna give Anne give you a chance here to catch your breath here. We're gonna have Anne right back here, and she's gonna share with us how she balances, growing and operating a multi-million-pound plumbing company and having a life. All right, and how you can too. All right, so stick around. She's gonna have a lot to say about that. But hey, I got a question for you guys. All right, we've been talking about customers. Even Anne brought it up. It's difficult getting these customers in. And once you get to customers, the last thing you want to do is lose them because, they fell through the cracks, or you double book them, or you forgot about them. Try telling your customer you forgot about them. They won't be your customer anymore, okay? Hey, but you don't have to deal with those, what I call customer killers, because with Jobber service management software, Jobber makes it easy for you to schedule your customers, okay? So no more double bookings. Jobber makes it easy for you to dispatch your calls, and Jobber makes it easy for you to keep track of your guys. So as you're growing, you got to keep track of these guys. You got to have a way of doing that. And Jobber even makes it easy for you to pay your customers, and that's what it's all about. All right. If you're not making money, it's a hobby. And all right, this ain't a hobby. Jobber saves you time, saves you money. Jobber saves you customers. And right now, you can try Jobber free for 14 days and receive 20% off your first 6 months. All right. You heard me right, bro. I hooked you up. Okay. So just do it. Go to www.themilliondollarplumber.com/Jobber to get your free 14-day trial and 20% off your first 6 months of Jobber. You and your customers will be glad you did. All right. And speaking about making it easy for your customers to pay you, Square Payment Processing does just that. All right. With Square, there's no more waiting around to get paid for that job you did last month. You know that? Or no more chasing down customers for late pays. Isn't that a fun time? And we'll have to ask Anne about that, how she handles that. All right. No more, just robbing from Paul to pay Peter. You guys know that saying, you're taking money from over there to try to pay this. There's no more of that, because with Square, you literally just swipe and you get the money in the bank right then, okay, by the next business day. It makes it easy for the customer to pay you. And right now, signing up for Square is free. It's free. So there's no excuse. You pay only when you make a sale. And there are no monthly or hidden fees. And you pay the same rate for all major credit cards. So there's no gaming there, okay? And right now, you'll also receive free processing on up to $1,000 in credit card transactions on your first 180 days. Can you say more money in the bank? Yes, you can. For details, go to www.themilliondollarplumber.com/Square. and start swiping today. Hey, let's get Anne back here and find out how she balances all this, building a multi-million-pound company and having a life too, and see how she can share how we can do the same thing, you and I. All right. So, hey, Anne, welcome back. Hey, so how do you do it? How do you grow? How are you growing and operating? This multi-million-pound operation. And it sounds like you're living. I mean, you're there at your home. You got a beautiful family. Sounds like you guys get out and do stuff. So I mean, how do you do that? It's kind of a loaded question.
Yeah, exactly. There's a few things that that you need to always understand is that you can't do everything, and that's one thing that a tradesman, in my experience, tradesmen seem to think that they can do everything, but you can't. You should really, if you want to grow your business, you have to recognize the skill set that you have and then get other people around you that are good at the things that you're not good at. And that is the best way to start building your business. And they don't necessarily cost a lot of money. Bookkeeper doesn't cost a lot of money. We used an online cloud-based accountancy software system called Xero, and that helps us. Yeah, and that helps us see, produce invoices really easily. You can create budgets. You can do estimates. Using one of those software systems can help speed up the process and make things look really professional. With what we do now, in order to scale up our business, we've actually gone in, I think it's 9 years now, from just me and my husband to a team of 70 plumbers and a team of 12 in the office. So in order to do that, it's been an uphill battle, and it always is every day. We're constantly learning because neither of us went to school and did business management. Neither of us qualified in business. We're learning as we go, but we're very quick learners. And I think that, once you enter the world that we're in now, there's a lot more challenges. My side of the business, I manage the money and the marketing. I call myself the M&M, and my husband runs the operational side of it. And I don't try to tell him how to do his job, and he doesn't try to tell me how to do my job. So we work really, really well together. I think having two people at the helm running the business is a big advantage because we can bounce ideas off each other. Our evenings out, our date nights are not just sitting there talking about the kids. They're talking about how we're going to take over the world.
That's right. Some of our conversations with lovely Laura. That's exactly right. I love that, Anne. Hey, guys, you listen up there. And Anne, I just love how you put it. And that's how winning is done. And what I wanted the guys to hear, look, this isn't about Anne being a woman in a business, that kind of stuff. Winners are winners, no matter where they come from, and whether the male, female, country line, race, all that kind of stuff. Doesn't matter. Winners are winners, and they have a few different outlooks, on life. And one is just like Anne, what you said is not trying to do everything yourself. And I agree with you. With trades guys, men tend to want to, I got to do everything myself, and it's machoing it down and just pushing and all that. And you just can't do it. And you certainly can't scale that and can't grow that. And then also I love the thing of learning. You're always learning. I mean, look, guys, we're talking with a woman that's founded and operating a multi-million-pound company and growing, but always looking to learn. There's something I don't know. I need to learn more. And that is amazing. And then I love the attitude, Anne. We have a heart, the lovely Laura and I. We founded our business, and that we became very successful. And it was a dual. I agree. It took two of us, and a husband and wife team. And I'll admit, I know in this realm here, the $1 Million Plumber realm, I'm the face. I get to, all right, okay. So I'm living the rock and roll dream. And the plumbing guy, but the brains are sitting right over here. Right. And we get that. We kind of know where each other's space was, but that's made it possible. And it's also been a lot of fun and exciting. And I agree, on the date nights, it's the same kind of thing for almost over 25 years. we've had a date night with running the business, and I'm sure you and your husband face it. You're making business decisions and the stuff that, it's working. You're in the fight, right? You're fighting, not necessarily fighting with each other, but you're in the, you're in the ring, and you're getting it done, and business is tough, and you both have different ideas, and you're doing your stuff. But we always, in the same thing here, we always had a date night, and always have. It's Friday nights, and we have a date night, and we'll go out, and sometimes, it depends on how well the weeks have been and whatever, where we're at, and whether, how much we spend, Yeah. I don't know if you have, McDonald's over there, but, when we're starting out, there was McDonald's, now it's, now we get a lot of steaks and that kind of, it's fun. But it was the same kind of a thing, where, we're talking about us and that kind of stuff, but then we're also planning on how we're taking over the world, so, I love it. And it's those kind of, that attitude, always looking, that next level, growing. So,
Yes.
man, I love it, Anne. Great stuff there, guys. I hope you're listening to that. So, hey, Anne, share a personal habit, that sets your day up for success.
Oh, wow. Personal habit that sets me up for success. I have a habit of writing lots of lists. It drives my husband crazy, but it's like a brain dump. I do it every day. So it might still have the same information from the day before and the day before and the day before, but it's just a way of me kind of setting myself up for the day. So that's one of my habits that I start with. And every day is completely different because we have 3 young children. Some days I have to ferry them off to school. So that takes a bit of effort. And then some days we both commute into London because our business is based in central London. So we have to get on the train and go into London in the morning. So, for example, tomorrow morning, I'm going to a women's networking breakfast that I go to every month. And then the next day, I think we're staying in London overnight because the Ed Sheeran concert's on, and one of our suppliers, that's one of the biggest plumbers merchants in the world, I think they're in the US as well. They've invited us for a VIP hospitality experience at the Ed Sheeran concert at Wembley.
Nice.
So,
nice.
Yeah, we get lots of fantastic opportunities. Yeah.
See? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Anne, you're like see, you guys, I can tell you're the brains because my wife and partner does the same thing, business partner. It's lists. And I think she just makes lists just to be able to check the things off. It's just to be able to check the things off.
Very satisfying.
Oh, very satisfying.
Very sad. Yep, it is very. Oh man, I hate those lists. Brings out the list and reminds me what I got to do and stuff. So I just want to be the face. Just like, okay. Oh, that's good stuff, Anne. So, Anne, what's a software or a tech gadget or something that helps you run your plumbing business? You mentioned one, Xero, which is great stuff. Do you still use Xero for
Yes.
All
Yes. Right. Well, I've used Xero for about 5 years, I think now. We used to use another one called Cashflow, and then we changed over to Xero, partly because Xero's from New Zealand, and so am I. So I have a little bit of an affiliation. But also it's a fantastic piece of technology which allows us, because it's cloud-based, to be able to access it wherever, whenever. And we can pull off reports from that show us at any point in time exactly how the business is going. So it's so many functions about it. And for us, especially now, and always actually, money is really, really important when you're running a business, because there's no point in being in business if you're not making.
That's right. Did you guys hear that? I'm sorry, Anne. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. I just want to hear, do you guys hear that? Money is very important in running your business, knowing your numbers. That's coming from someone who's growing a multi-million-pound company. So I'm sorry, Anne. I'm getting on my guys here in the U.S. and even the guys I coach. But know your numbers. Money is very, very important. There's no excuse, right?
No excuse whatsoever. Because there's no point in running a business if you're not making any money.
Great. Can you say that again, please, Anne?
There is no point running a business if you are not making any money. Profit as well is more important than turnover.
Oh man, there we go. Oh, I don't want to. I love you, Anne. Love it. So it's so cool.
Sounds
And it
like
is,
we need to collaborate on something.
yeah, that's I would love it. Hey, yeah, we're in show business. We got show business backgrounds, both you and I. We should do something, you know.
Yeah.
But I love it here. Yeah. Hey, Jim, how you doing this evening? We have Jim here from the States says, howdy, Richard and Anne, and nice plumbers. There we go. All right.
Hi, Jim.
He's one of our rock and roll plumbers. We got a lot of plumbers we talk to are, play instruments and in rock bands and that kind of stuff. So he's one of our, he's one of our nice plumbers. He has a nice business, just a good guy. He represents the industry really well here in the States and around the world. He's just a good guy. So, hey, howdy, Jim. So, Ann, yeah, I love it. The numbers are so important, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. It's important to know your numbers. And if you don't know your numbers, aren't making a profit, it's just, we call it a hobby. I don't know what you call it over there. You might as well just be playing at something. I don't know. So there you have it. Hey, Ann, it's been great having you on. I've loved this. I've been looking forward to talking with you. And again, I thank you so much for your time. But before you go, just one more question there for you. Before you go, what's the best advice that you've ever received that you would share with the guys and gals out there?
So actually for me, the best piece of advice I ever received was from my father, who's a successful businessman in his own right in New Zealand, not in plumbing. But he said to me way back in the early days when we were running the domestic company, and sometimes things can just get a little bit on top of you and you start to get a little bit emotional or sensitive, or a customer says something and you take it a little bit personally. He said to me, don't take it personally. It's business. If you're going to take it personally, then you shouldn't be in business. So I think that's one thing that's always stuck with me, and I've never looked back since. And we really, both of us, shut down that kind of emotional response to the way you dealt with customers, and we found it's helped us develop our business.
Oh, great! Such great advice there. You're right. It ain't personal, it's business, and it's knowing the business, man. Great advice. And obviously, you're doing it, and I'm sure it's friendly. You can still do business and be friendly, right? You still be friendly and take care of people.
Absolutely. You have to be. Absolutely. You have to be friendly. Just don't take it personally. That's all. If somebody doesn't want to use you, then that's their choice. That's
right. Just let it go and move on to the next. Exactly. Oh, Anne, this has been great. Love having you on. Thank you so much. At the end of your day there, and you're away from your family, and taking the time to be on the show. Such great information. And hey, before I let you go, I just want to say too, because we didn't get to talk beforehand. We're gonna, as we take you out here, hey, stick around here so I can talk to you after we stop talking to everybody else. All right, if you'll stick around, just so I can. All right, I'd appreciate that. So again, thank you so much, and look forward to talking to you again. All right.
Right, will do.
Hey, thanks, Ann. All right, there we go, Mr. Oh man, smack me, sweetheart, smack me upside the head. All right, Miss Anne Timpany. All right, founder of On Tap Plumbers out of St. Albans, UK. And yes, thank you, Jim. Thank you. Great guest as usual, Richard. Great guest. A lot of information there. Guys, I hope you were listening in on that. Listen to the recast over on YouTube at the $1 Million Plumber YouTube channel there. There we have our winner award there. She had a lot of great information in there. In the short time, we're just kind of skimming over stuff. Look, to go from nothing, to multi-millions of pounds, and going from doing domestic, service work to the commercial. I mean, it's just there's a lot of information there. I mean, you got to be sharp and on top of it there. So great. I'd loved having her on. So, hey, I would love to have you on as well. If you got a story, don't be intimidated. Don't be scared, guys. Don't be scared of the girl. Okay. All right. Hey, don't be scared. You got a story too. And we'd love to hear your story. The plumbing world is waiting to hear your story. You have nuggets of gold to share and drop on us. So come on over. Be my guest here on Potty Talk Live. Go over to www.pottytalklive.com. Scroll on down to the Be My Guest button. Click it. And just, only stipulation, you got to be a plumber in plumbing. All right. And or a plumbing business owner. Okay. So thank you, sweetheart. Just, we'd love to have you on the show. We'll have a good time. You see how this is fun, and love to have you there. Hey, and if you like, again, check out, guys, go back and take a look at this episode and listen to what Anne, was saying. There had a lot there. Just listen to what she was talking about. Okay. I know you can get caught up in her accent. It's kind of fun. I like that Kiwi accent too, okay. All that kind of stuff. So we'll go back and listen to what she had to say. And you can check that out there at the YouTube channel, The $1 Million Plumber. And you can see other episodes, okay? A lot of other great guests, all kinds of experience there, all kinds of, it's just a gold mine of information there. So go check that out. And hey, while you're there, also hit the subscribe button there. I think it's about like in this area, and help us get the word out, okay? So there you have it. Also, I got a reminder here, the free report. You got to know this stuff, Anne, and she learned it pretty quick, and she was throwing these things out, these principles. She even spoke of a couple of these principles. You got to know these things to be successful. And here I have it down in my little e-booklet here for you, and it's free. So there's no excuse. Do what she does. You learn, okay? You learn. And so get this so you can learn. Type free in the comments, and I'll get it right out to you. So, all right, there we have it. Sweetheart, I loved this program, this episode. Awesome. Yes, it is. Hey, but before, it is probably time to flush this episode, time to flush it. But before I let you go, I do want to remind you again that you are purposefully and wonderfully created, and you were created to do great things. All right? I'm talking to you, bro. You were created to do great things. So when you're out there doing your thing, as always, run like a champion.